Hello guys, full time at Selhurst Park. Arsenal 1-0 winners over Crystal Palace. A win on the road, a very hard place to go, especially when you're down to 10 men. And Arsenal ground out the victory for 3 points, one of just 3 teams in the league with a maximum 6 points after 2 games. Man City and Brighton being the others. There is a lot to talk about in this game, and I'm going to try and whiz through some of it for you now. Before we get too far in, I want to start with this. I think we have to remember as Arsenal fans that not every game we won last season was pretty. I think there's going to be a tendency this year when we struggle a bit, when we have to work for a game, where there are things we're less happy with, to look back and say, we're not the team we were last season. Because the way memory works is we look at last season and think, well, we were top for ages. We think of it sometimes as a procession, that we just went game to game, just blew teams away, and it was all straightforward. I think if we think about it a little bit harder, we know that isn't the reality. And let me tell you, in that run that took Arsenal close to the Premier League title, there were a lot of games like this. Edgy, tight, defined by narrow margins. In fact, the game that started the season, the win at Crystal Palace, was not entirely dissimilar. I'd even say there's an argument that certainly with 11 men on the pitch, we fared better, we played better in this game at Selhurst Park than we did last season. And yet we revere last season, and this season we're a bit like, we're not so sure. I guess that's expectations changing. That said, there were things in the performance tonight that I wasn't happy with. We'll get to that. Let's talk about the starting 11 first. Just the one change, I think I'm right in saying. Tomiyasu came in for Jurrien Timber, who of course we've sadly lost to injury. That meant Gabriel being out of the starting lineup again. And obviously there was a flurry of posts about that on social media. A lot of concerns about his future, what's going on, why is he out of the starting 11. At the time of speaking, I've not seen Mikel Arteta's press conference. I am sure he'll be asked about it. He absolutely should be asked about it, because this is a player who's consistently started games who is now not in the starting 11. What I would say is Arsenal cannot contemplate selling Gabriel. You want to know why? Well, obviously the partnership with Saliba was the cornerstone of so much of what we did last season. And just look at the 2 games. Look at Forest, look at Palace. Look at the fact that in both situations we had narrow 1-goal leads and we needed Gabriel. We needed him to come on, shore things up, be physical, win battles. I loved his performance tonight. I loved his cameo tonight. I loved the aggression, the fire that he showed. I think he was wearing the armband as well after Odegaard went off. He's a player Arsenal desperately need to keep. It makes no logical sense to sell him, but it doesn't make a great degree of logical sense to leave him out either. So some alarm bells are ringing for me. I said that at the weekend. I'll say it again today. He's got to stay. He's so important, and he showed that. Anyway, that was the starting 11, which meant Eddie continued up top. And Eddie was the player where everyone was talking about half-time, because he had 2 good chances to put Arsenal in front. One, to be fair, was all on him. Lovely little turn, did well to hold off the defender, left-footed shot. I thought it was the right decision to go for the far corner. Hits the post. Okay, he's unlucky. It's millimetres. The second chance, he should definitely do better. Played in by Declan Rice, who we'll come on to. Lovely little through ball from Declan Rice, popping up on the edge of the box. And Eddie Johnston rushed out. And I wonder if the last chance was in his mind. He looked to scoop it over him, but there was just no room to do it. And it went over the bar by some way. A big miss, a bad miss. But Arsenal, I thought at half-time had a decent half. They'd had the best 2 chances of the game, really the only 2 chances of any note in the game. They'd controlled the vast majority of possession. And it's one of those where, you're playing against a deep block. It's difficult. If one of those chances goes in, we're probably calling that a very satisfactory half. A bit like we did against Nottingham Forest a week ago. We didn't get the breaks, we didn't get the finishing. But I thought Eddie's all-round performance on the night was good. He had another big contribution to come, which we'll come on to. But yeah, I liked the first half. What I did feel, though, is that I'm still not convinced about the new shape. Now, why should I be, right? We changed things up a bit. We had Thomas Partey in at right back, Ben White sort of next to Saliba, Tomiyasu on the left, Saliba playing centrally as the left-sided centre-half, but at the centre of our distribution. I'm not sure yet about it, but why should I be? 2 games in, right? I think Arsenal last season, they sort of tried a new shape with White at right back, Zinchenko at left back, and it clicked immediately. And maybe I'm sort of guilty of wanting that again. Maybe this is something that's going to take more adaptation, more time. But I think what Arsenal have done with this is clearly it's an attempt to put all the emphasis on the defence for build-up, get Saliba more involved in central areas, have Partey inverting, and then have runners ahead who can make a difference. Kai Havertz, who was playing at times almost like a second striker, a target man. Ben White looking for him with long balls, Saliba looking for him with long balls. Rice, who I thought had a very good game, but in the first half wasn't necessarily on the ball a great deal, but did a lot of good off-the-ball work. I think that the system is basically to have these three defenders all playing the ball and have more off-the-ball runners, try and create more opportunities, more overloads in the opposition half, right? Like we did against Forest, have a six-man attack essentially against five defenders. I get it, but it is not there yet. And maybe it shouldn't be, but it's something to keep an eye on. I couldn't help but feel that Arsenal would be better served by fielding the back four that served them so well for so much of last season. I mean, maybe Zinchenko wasn't ready to start, but for me, Gabriel and Saliba is still my preferred central defensive partnership. I think White brings a lot of right back in terms of his combinations with Odegaard and Saka, and I'm just not sure that what we're doing right now offsets dismantling that unit. Anyway, half-time, as I say, I was quite satisfied, and just thinking, well, what we need to do here is take our chances. And shortly after the start of the second half, well, Eddie Nketiah showed some real quick thinking. Gabriel Martinelli too, a nice sort of quick free kick. Nketiah races after it. Sam Johnston brings him down. It's a penalty. Big decision now. Who's going to take it? And it was Martin Odegaard. I said before the season started, I thought he should be our penalty taker. Based on the way he tucked that one away tonight, my opinion there has not changed. He really, really put it away beautifully. Then we are on to... we take the lead. So I was hoping that we'd press on. I was hoping that we'd go for the kill, try and get that second and third goal. Straight away, there was a casualness about our play that I didn't really enjoy. The referee was asking us to hurry it up, and I don't think you should be time wasting at 1-0 up with half an hour to play against Crystal Palace. I don't think it really makes any sense. I'm not entirely convinced the Arsenal players were time wasting so much as just trying to take a breather, particularly Thomas Partey, who seemed to be puffing a little bit by that stage. Tomiyasu gets booked for the throw-in. It's a bit harsh on Tomiyasu because really it was Kai Havertz who should have taken it quicker. Anyway, the referee's making a point. They're human beings, right? He had warned us about the time wasting. We took a long while to take the throw-in. He books Tomiyasu. I don't think we should have been time wasting. I think we should have seen that this referee was on it. We know the new rules. We know what's in play. We know what's in place. And we should have reacted accordingly. We should have said, right, guys, let's not do anything stupid here. Let's not get ourselves booked. We didn't. We gave him the chance to produce the yellow card. And there we go. Obviously, it cost us when we went down to 10 men. Those two bookings are really harsh to make up for a red. I have to be honest for Tomiyasu, given that he didn't do much wrong on the first. On the second, there is the slightest of tugs. I think it's exceptionally harsh. I think if he's a home player, if he's a Crystal Palace player, he does not get those bookings. It's as simple as that. But as long as you've got human beings refereeing games, these things are going to happen. What's important is how you deal with it. Now, I liked some of the rearguard action that Arsenal produced. I have to be honest, I thought we surrendered too much once we were down to 10 men. I thought we still had the quality on the pitch to control possession better. And only really once Jorginho and Zinchenko were on and working together did we do that. We had a little 3-minute spell of possession where we controlled it, where we took it up there on the end of the pitch. Zinchenko was instrumental in that. Wow, we badly had lacked that sort of maturity in our decision-making, that sort of calmness on the ball until that point. We just let Palace have it. And like I say, a lot to admire in the way we defended the penalty box. I think Gabriel was loving it, Saliba was loving it, Ben White was loving it, Aaron Ramsdale was loving it, and all the celebrations at full time show that. But I think this Arsenal team should be capable of managing that situation better. I know Palace is a tough place to go, but they were missing some big players tonight. Elise and their new Brazilian signing, £25 million signing. We faced them at a good time, and yeah, they didn't create a great deal. There was one sort of nervous moment in our box. Ramsdale came out, punched away. I thought that was the right call. Ball dropped to the left back and he blasted it over the bar. That was pretty much it. So credit to the players for defending the box as well as they did. But I don't think you should spend 20 minutes, half an hour defending your own box in any Premier League game when you've just got a 1-0 lead. There needs to be an outlet. There needs to be more control. And I would hope that Mikel Arteta knows that, and that's why he made the changes he did, Jorginho, Zinchenko. I've got 10 minutes in and I've not really talked about Declan Rice, who was the headline maker for me tonight. I thought he was absolutely outstanding. And what I think is really interesting about this player, I watched Sky on the pre-match build-up debating, does he score enough goals? And I thought, you're really missing the point with this player. He is the outstanding defensive midfield player in this league. Whether he plays number 6, whether he plays number 8, he is so good at the defensive side of the game, regaining possession. He's got such an instinct for snuffing out danger. But having the instinct is one thing. He's got a superpower. When you spend £100 million on a player, you're looking for a superpower, right? You know, whether it's Erling Haaland and he's a goal scorer, or whether it's someone who can beat a man, whether it's someone who's got incredible set-piece delivery. When you make a big signing, you want to know, what is the thing where they excel? And Declan Rice's strength is his strength. Declan Rice's superpower, rather, for me, is his physicality. And I think that that word, physicality, gets bandied around very lazily in football commentary. I think that, you know, you see people talk about it with somebody like Thomas Partey, whereas I think really what they should be talking about is his ability to beat a man one-on-one. And with Declan Rice, I think people look at it and they talk about leadership. Yeah, sure. Character. Yeah, sure. Physically, he is outstanding. I would love to have a chat with the Arsenal coaches, the Arsenal physios, and know what kind of numbers he is producing in training. Because, and in some ways it makes him the perfect replacement for Granit Xhaka. Because physically, he is so, so good. His acceleration, his upper body strength in a one-on-one duel. We saw it, I think it was in the Community Shield, where against Man City, he just raced back over like 10, 15, 20 yards and just took the ball off Rodri, I think it was, or maybe Bernardo Silva. He looked like a man playing against boys, and he looks like that quite a lot of the time. And I don't think Arsenal have had a physical presence like this in midfield for some time. There are other qualities to his game. We spoke about the great pass that he produced for Eddie Nketiah. There were some really nice passes in this game, crossfield balls. I thought there was some, intelligent positional play. But for me, his physical capacity is amazing. We lost something there in Granit Xhaka, his ability to get up and down. Rice is an amazing, amazing athlete. There are other elements of his game that will develop, and I can't wait to watch them develop at Arsenal and under Mikel Arteta. I don't think he could have a better manager. But I think physically, he's a monster. He is a beast. And we see those words, like I say, lazily applied to certain players. Maybe, I think we should be talking about Declan Rice in those terms. He can live with the Rodris. He will tear past the Casemiros. I can't wait to watch that matchup, Rice against Casemiro, and watch Rice shrug him off. He'll do it easily. He has added a physical dimension to this team that's not been there for some time, and I'm sure it's coming across, but I'm really excited about it. You need that in the Premier League. You need that if Arsenal want to go better and win the Premier League. So like I say, there were things in this performance that Arsenal could have done better, but you've got to be happy with 3 points at Selhurst Park. 2 wins from 2. Things to learn, things to improve, and whatever you do, don't sell Gabriel. I'll leave it there, guys. Thanks for watching. Do subscribe for more of these videos, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.